For question 1, I'll consecutively divide 600 by prime numbers. So 600 by 2 is 300, divided by 2 is 150, divided by 2, that's 75, divided by 3, 25, divided by 5, you get a 5, finally divided by 5, you get 1. So the answer is 2 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 1 times 5 to the power of 2. For question 2, I'll start from the left-hand side and convert the fractions to improper ones. So I've got 18 over 7 divided by 9 over 8. Now I'm going to flip the second one and change the division to multiplication. So I've got times 8 over 9. Now I can cancel out the 9 with the 18. So I'm going to get 16 over 7. And this is equal to 2 and 2 over 7, which is equal to the right hand side. For question 3, I'll start from London and make north. And then starting from this north, I'm going to turn clockwise an angle of 149 degrees. Now this is a 90. This is 180, so 149 is somewhere in between. Now this is where Paris is, and I'm going to make a north here as well. And the bearing of London from Paris is this red angle here. I will label this as X. But in order to find X, I'll need to find this angle here. Let's label this Y. Now 149 and Y are interior angles, so Y is equal to 180 minus 149, which gives me 31. And once I find 31, I can find X by subtracting 31 from 360, because those two are angles at a point, and this will give me 329 for my final answer. In part AI, I need to find the union. This is the set that has all the elements in B or I or both. Now, Brazil has 6 distinct letters, so let's write those down. B, R, A, Z, I, L. And then Ireland has 3 letters that are not already in Brazil. Those letters are E, N, D. So this is the union between B and I. In part I need to find the intersection between B and I dash. Now this means I need all the letters that are in Brazil but are not in Ireland, and there are 2 letters that are in Brazil but not Ireland, and these are B and Z. The rest of the letters are in I, so I need to exclude them. So let's go to part B. I've got a new set, Kenya. Cody writes down the statement B intersection K is equal to the empty set. This means that there are no common elements between B and K because their intersection is empty. It says Cody's statement is wrong. Explain why. And the answer is because the letter A belongs in both sets. In question 5, I need to find this angle. Now there are various approaches. I will first find this angle here using the fact that I have an isosceles triangle. I will proceed with this angle. Angles on a straight line are at 180, and then I use the fact that these two are corresponding and hence equal angles. So let's write all this down. So step 1, EBC is equal to 180 minus 44 divided by 2. This will give me 68 degrees. And the reason is that angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. Then for the second step, angle GBC is equal to 180 minus 68. This is equal to 112 degrees because angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. And finally, step number 3, angle JGH is equal to 112 because corresponding angles are equal. So final answer, 112 degrees. For question 6, last week's bag contained 12 kilograms of seeds, while for next week we have a ratio 4:5. So as a fraction, we've got 5/9 are seeds. So 5/9 times the weight, which is 19.35, will give me 10.75 kilograms of seeds. Now I want to find the percentage decrease. There are two ways to do this. I can work with the multiplying factor or with the percentage decrease formula. I'll do both. So working with the multiplying factor will give me the following. So last week times the multiplying factor will give me the next week. So 12 times the multiplying factor is equal to 10.75. So the multiplying factor is 10.75 over 12, which is equal to 0.896. As a fraction with denominator 100, this is 89.6 over 100. Now, given that 100 is my starting point, this is 10.4% below 100, which is the final answer. Now, if you're working with the percentage decrease formula, this states the following. And if I substitute the values in, I will get 12 minus 10.75 over 10.75 times 100, and this will come out to be 10.4. For question 7, sine of 42 equals to the opposite side, which is 6.5, over the hypotenuse, which is x. So if I rearrange this, I'll get x equals to 6.5 over sine of 42. Put this in the calculator and you'll get 9.7, which is the final answer. For question 8, I'll proceed with elimination. I'm going to multiply the first one by 2 and the second one by 1, so it stays the same. So I get 10a plus 4c is equal to 20, and the second one stays the same, and then I will add the two equations so that the 4c and the minus 4c cancels out. So I get 12a equals to 27. So a is 27 over 12, that's 9 over 4. And then to get the value of c, I'll substitute in any of the two. I'll go with the first one. So 5 times 9 over 4 plus 2c is equal to 10. And if I rearrange this, c will come out to be minus 5 over 8. So 9 over 4 and minus 5 over 8 are the final solutions. In question 9, part I, the two factors are x plus 6 and x minus 4. And in part II, you need to solve using the two factors you found above. So the solutions are x equals -6 or x equals to 4. In question 10, to find the volume, I'll need to find the area of the cross-section first. Now the cross-section is a right-angled triangle, and to find the area of this triangle, let me first extract this out of the shape. So to find the area, I'll need to find the height using Pythagoras theorem. So x squared is equal to 11.2 squared minus 7.4 squared. So x squared is equal to, comes out to be 1767 over 25. If you take the square root of that, you'll have 8.407 and so on. Hence, the area of the triangle is given by base times height over 2. So 7.4 times 8.407 and so on over 2. This comes out to be 31.1 ... And finally, the volume is given by the area of the cross section times the length, that's equal to 15. Hence, the answer is 467, correct to 3 significant figures. In question 11, the house was sold for 24% more than it was bought. So the multiplying factor is equal to 124 over 100, that's 1.24. Now the initial value times the multiplying factor will give me the final value. Hence the initial value is equal to the final divided by the multiplying factor. So 180,000 over 1.24 will give me 145,000 to 3 significant figures. In part B, I have an increase of 1.8 per year. This means there's a multiplying factor of 101.8 over 100, that's 1.018 as a decimal, and this goes from 2017 to 2020, which means I have 3 years. So to find the final value, that's 120,000 times the multiplying factor to the power of 3, and this will give me 127,000 to 3 significant figures. In question 12, I'll need to plot these numbers on the x-axis with these numbers on the y-axis, and I will join everything to the origin because everything starts with a 0. So if I plot the points first and then join them either with a smooth curve or using your ruler with line segments. Then moving to part B, I'll need to find an estimate for the median distance traveled. Now n is 80. If I divide this by 2, I will get 40. So I need the 40th observation. So I'm going to go on the y-axis, locate 40, and read off the corresponding y value. Now on the x-axis, every 2 squares is 1 unit, every 1 square is half a unit. So since I have 3 squares, that's 1.5 units above 10, which means that the median is equal to 11.5 kilometers. Note that the mark scheme accepts answers between 10.5 and 12. Now, to find the interquartile range in part C, I'll need to find Q1 first. That's a quarter of 80 equals 20. So I need the 20th observation. I'm going to find this from the graph. And I'll also need Q3. That's 3/4 of 80, which is 60. So I need the 60th observation as well. And then for the interquartile range, I'll subtract one by the other. So from the graph for the Q1, so this cuts the x-axis at 6. So Q1 is 6. Let's repeat for Q3. I have to go to 60 now. This cuts the x-axis at 16, so Q3 is equal to 16. So the interquartile range is equal to 16 minus 6, which is equal to 10 kilometers. Now the mark scheme accepts values between 8.5 to 11.5. Now in part D, I need to make two comparisons between office B and office A, and these are the following. Office B workers have higher median than office A workers, which means that office B workers travel further. And for the second comparison, I'm going to say that the IQR for office A workers is bigger than the IQR for office B workers, which means that the distances for office A workers are more spread out. Note that just comparing median and IQR without any reference to the actual problem will cost you 1 mark. The mark scheme specifically says that at least one of the comments must be in context. In question 13, I'll first complete the tree diagram. I've got a 0.3 here, and then the second race has probability 0.4 and 0.6 for both sets of branches. Now in part B, I need to find the probability that Emily wins exactly once. So probability win-lose plus probability lose-win. This is equal to 0.7 times 0.6 plus 0.3 times 0.4. These are the probabilities here: win and lose, or do not win and win. This is what I am multiplying and adding the two branches. So this will give me 0.42 plus 0.12, which is 0.54. For part C, I have a third race with some probabilities. So let's go to the tree diagram and add these probabilities. So if we have a win-win, then the probabilities are 0.6 and 0.4. If we have win and lose, then win-lose have probability 0.3, 0.7, and this is the same for the combination below. And if I want to have exactly 2 of the 3 races won, this is win, win and lose, or win, not win and win, or not win, win and win. And then I have to, after multiplying, I have to add. So let's go to part C. Probability win, win, lose plus probability win, lose, win plus the probability of lose, win, win. These are 0.7 times 0.4 times 0.4 plus 0.7 times 0.6 times 0.3 plus 0.3 times 0.4 times 0.3. This come out to be 0.112 plus 0.126 plus 0.036. Final answer 0.274. For question 14, I'll start by dealing with the minus sign at the power. So I will flip my fraction and the negative will become a positive, and then I have 16 to the power of a half times y to the power of 10 to the power of a half all over 9 to the half times x to the 4 to the power of a half. Now 16 to the power of 1 over 2 is equal to 4. Here I will multiply the powers, so I get y to the 5. 9 to the power of 1 over 2 is 3. And again here I multiply the powers and get x squared, and this is the final answer. In part A of question 15, just put the x values in the calculator to get the y values, and this will be 8.5, 5, 4, and 5. The other two are given. And then in part B, that's simple, just plot the points and then join them with a smooth curve. For question 16, since A is inversely proportional to the square of R, I'll have A equals to K over R squared. Now I'm going to use the values given, so 5 equals to K over 0.3 squared. And if I cross multiply, K comes out to be 0.45. So the formula is A equals to 0.45 over R squared. In part B, I'll substitute R with the value given, that's 7.5A all squared. So A is equal to 0.45 over 56.25 A squared. Let's cross multiply. 56.25 A to the power of 3 equals to 0.45. So A cubed is equal to 0.45 divided by 56.25. That's 0.008. So A is the cube root of 0.008, and this comes out to be 0.2. In question 17, I know that line L passes through the points 4, -1 and 6, 4. Now to find the gradient, I'll use the following formula. So if I substitute the values in, I'll get m equals to 4 minus -1 over 6 minus 4. So m comes out to be 5 over 2. Now line M is perpendicular to line L, which means that the gradient is -2 over 5. You flip and change the sign. I am also given that this line passes through 0, 8, so it has a y-intercept of 8, hence the equation is y equals -2 over 5x plus 8, and I want to find out where this line intersects the x-axis, so I'm going to substitute y is equal to 0, which means that 0 equals -2 over 5x plus 8. So 2 over 5x is equal to 8. X comes up to be 20. So the coordinates of the wanted point is 20, 0. In question 18, I'll need to find the perimeter. To do so, I'll first need to find these two sides. To find these sides, I'll need to find this side. So I'll make use of the cosine rule and the sine rule, which are the following. So let's begin by trying to find side AC, which is this one. So I'm going to use the cosine rule now. AC squared is equal to 8 squared plus 7.5 squared minus 2 times 8 times 7.5 cos of 98. So AC squared is equal to 136.95 and so on. So AC comes out to be 11.70, 25, 96, 81. Next step is to find angle DAC, which is this one. To do so, I'll need to find this angle first. Now, these two angles are opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, and they add up to 180. And once I find this angle, these three angles add up to 180 because they are in a triangle. I don't have to state the reasons here. So ADC is equal to 180 minus 98, which is 82. And then DAC is equal to 63 degrees. So that's 82 and that's 63 degrees. So now I'm going to use the sine rule because I have found this side. I know the opposite angles. So I'm going to use sine rule twice, once to find A and D and once to find C, D. So let's go to the other page. Using the sine rule now, 11.7, I have full accuracy here, divided by sine of 82 is equal to A and D over sine of 35. So A and D is equal to 11.7 sine of 35 over sine of 82. This will give me 6.778 and so on. Similarly, I have 11.7 over sine of 82. This time equals sin D over sine of 63. So sin D is equal to 11.7 sine of 63 over sine of 82. Sin D comes out to be 10.529 and so on. Hence, the perimeter is equal to 6.778 plus 10.529 and so on, plus 8, that's A and B, plus 7.5, and my final answer will be 32.8. Note that the mark scheme accepts answers between 32.7 and 32.9. For question 19, I'm going to use substitution. I'll substitute y here with 3 minus 2x. So I get x squared plus 3 minus 2x squared equals to 18. Let's expand now. X squared plus 9 minus 12x plus 4x squared is equal to 18. So 5x squared minus 12x minus 9 is equal to 0. Now we can solve this equation either by using factorization, completing the square, or using the quadratic formula. I'll go with factorization. So 5x plus 3 times x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 3 over 5, or x equals to 3. And I have to substitute these values into this equation to get the y values. So y is equal to 3 minus 2 times minus 3 over 5. Y comes out to be 21 over 5. And from the second value of x, y is equal to 3 minus 2 times 3. Y comes out to be minus 3. So my solutions are x equals minus 3 over 5 with y 21 over 5, and x equals 3 with y is equal to minus 3. Question 20 involves volumes and areas of similar shapes. So whenever I have this type of question, I like to create the following table. Now, if the scale factor for the length is k, then the scale factor for the area is k squared, and the scale factor for the volume is k to the power of 3. Now we're given that the ratio of the surface areas is 25 to 36, so let's assume the small is 25 and the large one is 36. We are given that the volume of the small one is 300, and I need to find the volume of the large one. So now from this relationship, I'll find k, because k squared is equal to 36 over 25. So k is the square root of this. K comes out to be 6 over 5. So the volume of the large one is equal to 300 times my scale factor to the power of 3, and this will give me 518.4, and that's the final answer. For question 21, I'll need to differentiate, but before doing so, I'll rewrite y as kx squared plus 16x to the minus 1. So dy dx is equal to 2kx minus 16x to the minus 2. And I can rewrite this as 2kx minus 16 over x squared. Now at x equals to 2 over 3, I know that dy dx is equal to 0 because a is a turning point. This means that 0 equals 2k times 2 over 3 minus 16 over 2 over 3 squared. Now if I simplify this, I get 0 equals 4 over 3k minus 36. So 36 equals 4 over 3k. K comes out to be 27. And now to find the value of a, again, at x equals 2 over 3, I know that the y value is equal to a from this. So a equals 27 times 2 over 3 to the power of 2 plus 16 over 2/3. And if I put the whole thing on the calculator, a will come out to be 36, which is the final answer. For question 22, I'll need to first complete the square for g of x. So let's write this down. 2x squared minus 12x plus 13. That's equal to 2 square bracket x squared minus 6x plus 13. Then I'm going to come to the side and completely square. X squared minus 6x is equal to x minus half of 6 is equal to 3. So 3 squared and then minus 3 all squared. This will give me x minus 3 squared minus 9. So going back, I will have 2 square brackets and then x minus 3 squared minus 9, close the square bracket, plus 13. And I'm going to expand the square brackets, so I have 2 times the brackets minus 2 times 9, which is 18, plus 13. So finally 2x minus 3 squared minus 5. Now this consists of 3 transformations on f of x. Let's label them as a, which is the times 2, b, which is the minus 5. Those two are on the y coordinates. And then I have transformation c, which is on the x coordinates. Note that a and b must be in that order, multiplication first and then subtraction. So for transformation a, this is a stretch by a scale factor of 2 in the y direction. Transformation b is a translation by vector 0 minus 5. This is 5 units downwards. And finally, transformation c is a translation 3 units to the right, so by vector 3, 0. In question 23, you can think of this as a tree diagram problem. So if I create a tree diagram, it's going to look like this. Now, there are many ways to set this up, but I'm going to use for red an x, and for black, I will use x plus 3 because there are 3 more black than red. So the total, which is my n, is equal to 2x plus 3. So I am interested in these 2 branches, the black followed by a red, and the first probability will be x plus 3 over 2x plus 3, and then the second one will be x over 2x plus 2. Note how the denominator decreases by 1 because I am not replacing. So if I multiply these 2 probabilities, I should get 9 over 35. So let's set up an equation, x plus 3 over 2x plus 3 times x over 2x plus 2 is equal to 9 over 35. And now this becomes an algebra problem. So if I cross multiply, I will get 35 times x plus 3 times x, and this is equal to 9, 2x plus 3, 2x plus 2. So let's expand now. I will multiply 35 with x first. So I get 35x, x plus 3 is equal to 9. I'm going to have a bracket here, 4x squared plus 4x plus 6x plus 6. Note that these two are 10x. And then if I further multiply, I will get 35x squared plus 105x equals 36x squared plus 90x plus 54. Let's take everything to the right hand side. This will give me x squared minus 15x plus 54. Now I will factorize this and get 0 equals x minus 9, x minus 6. Hence, x is equal to 9 or x is equal to 6, which means that n is equal to 2x plus 3, so 2 times 9 plus 3 is equal to 21, or n is equal to 2 times 6 plus 3, which is equal to 15. So the final two answers are 15 and 21.